Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm very, very proud to be here, actually. My name is Bernd Krainbucher. As mentioned already, I'm from Austria, and I'm working since 3 years on the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series, which started 4 years ago. So, yeah, I'm not an oldie, but I'm there quite a while. And I'm glad that I'm able to present you our project, and of course to also connect it with the future of high diving, because the future is hopefully led by the FINA and not by our series. Of course, we are intending to be next to FINA or together with FINA, but to proceed to a professional level of high diving, we definitely need the FINA, and we definitely need the national federations and all of you and your help, because it's also our intention to grow the sport and find new talents and maybe make it an Olympic event at one point. I want to start with some moving images, because I attended a few presentations also this morning, and I was missing moving images, so I thought I will start with a small clip. This is a review clip of our 2012 Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series, and I think it will give you a good idea of what we are doing so far.
Really, this year it's had the best divers from all over the world, and everyone is on top of their game. So this is the one I want to win.
Yeah, thanks for your hand. That was not my effort. Therefore, we have fortunately experts who are doing these clips for us, but the media production obviously is a big part of our whole crew. An overview of what I want to tell you today. It's about the history of high diving, of cliff diving. It's about the review of 2012, just really quick and brief, as you saw this clip already. The mottos we are using at the moment at our events, about our athletes, the heroes, the guys we are doing all these things for, our judges pool, the calendar 2013 with some new things also regarding FINA. The qualification competition, as this is really important for the national federations and for the future of the sport. And of course, the question and answer, we heard already, this is going to be after all the presentations. So out of a curiosity, who of you is involved in diving in your federations? Melanie, we met already. So yeah, one person, but that's no problem. Hopefully you can spread the word and tell your colleagues about the high diving in 2013 within FINA. A quick look at the history. Melanie told us already during the morning that diving started within the 19th century. I'm going back 100 years more to Maui, Hawaii, where King Kahekili somehow was the father of cliff diving at the 18th century, the late 1700s, and he used this lele kava as an initiation rite for his warriors. Pretty interesting. This lele kava is somehow a leap of a cliff feet first into water, so he used this for his warriors. And the first guy who actually was organizing high diving competitions for his villages or for his brave warriors was King Kamehameha, and this was around 1850 in the 19th century when he organized the first high diving competition. The first Red Bull cliff diving competitions, single events together with the WDHF, you probably heard about this already, was late 90s, and the first Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series was established in 2009. As mentioned already, we had 28 events so far during the last 4 years with 500,000 spectators on site, and for 2013 we are planning to hold 10 events, and this doesn't include the FINA High Diving World Championships in Barcelona. The review for 2012, as you saw already in the clip, we started in Corsica, in Bonifacio, France, end of June, went to Norway, where the weather wasn't that nice. Then we went to the Azores, Portugal, for our third stop with this stunning location, the monolith. Fourth stop was Ireland, Innismore, where you had this natural pool. It's a blowhole and a really, really mystic place. Fifth stop was Boston, where we were able to welcome a FINA delegation for the first time, and this was spectator-wise definitely our biggest event this year, because we had 50,000 spectators on site, and I think this was the third biggest crowd we've ever had at a cliff diving event. And then it was the second last stop in the United Kingdom with beautiful weather, South Wales, Pembrokeshire, 3 days of blue skies, amazing. And then we went to the Middle East, Arabic region, Oman, the Wadi Shab, and the picture to the right is also a picture out of the Wadi with David Kulturi taking off the young American diver. Impressions from 2012, I just want to show you a few pictures. You saw it already in the moving images. Top right with Norway, crazy weather. In the morning you weren't able to see the water from top of the platform as it was so foggy. Yeah, we were quite lucky. We didn't have to cancel a single round this year. This was the Blue Lagoon in South Wales at the very, very western tip of the United Kingdom. Also a stunning location. And the bottom left with the spectator crowds in Boston, Massachusetts. And just to show you the variety our athletes are challenged with, this was the way back from the diving in Wales, Artem Silchenko and Anatoly Shabotenko are making their way back to the diving platform. We are coming to the athletes, our heroes. Some of them are following us already since almost 10-15 years. Some of them are absolute rookies, qualified last year at the qualification competition in Australia and were on tour with us in 2012 for the first time. Gary Hunt, he is, I'd say, already one of our most experienced guys, and as you see, he is the winner, 3 consecutive overall titles the last 3 years, even though Orlando Duque, probably the most famous name in cliff diving, was injured in 2011. Nevertheless, Gary is absolutely dominant at the moment, and this is his face. I just wanted to show you a couple of faces as well, not just names. Orlando Duque, together with Gary Hunt, he is the Colombian 9 times high diving world champion, winner of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series in 2009, and he is definitely the biggest name within high diving. Recovered, he broke his ankle, is fit again, and he's trying to learn some new dives, so he will be back next year for sure again. And now we are talking about our other athletes who are quite interesting for all of you. Starting top left, this is Mr. Blake Aldridge from the United Kingdom. Maybe some of you remember him. He was the synchro partner of Tom Daly in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. And he joined us last year in 2011 already for some single events as a wildcard diver, and came second at the qualification competition in Australia this January, and was a fixed part of our tour. Had some problems with injuries, and I think he finished overall 7th, so he couldn't qualify directly for 2013. Right top, Artem Silchenko, Russian local hero. He's also one of our experienced guys, super brave guy. He's doing all these blind entries without a Barani. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about, but for specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer all this after our show. Bottom left, David Colturi, United States of America, didn't quite make the Olympic team for US diving, but is really ambitious, won the qualification competition in Australia, and finished 5th this year, so this is the last spot who qualifies him directly for the 2013 series and also for the High Diving World Championships in Barcelona. And bottom right, probably the biggest surprise this year, Stephen Lebu, also United States of America. He came 3rd overall this year. He won in Wales, Pembrokeshire. Amazing little guy, but really a great diver. And he was definitely, as I mentioned already, the surprise of the year. We are talking about high diving, cliff diving. Our series is called the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. And why cliff diving? This is what I want to show you within the next very short clip. Pretty amazing from my point of view. That's the reason why I choose the next clip. And just to let you know, of course, for our optional dives, which I will go in detail a little bit later, it's important to have a solid platform, to have the sportive requirements they need to do all their twists and all their somersaults. But for our required dives, we are not insisting on a certain height. For our optionals, it's 27 meters, but for the required, it could be higher, it could be lower, and it could be directly off a cliff. And that's the reason why I want to show you the next clip.
Back to the roots. Back in the days when people didn't have any platforms or anything, they would just climb a rock and then jump off. And all of our guys know how to do this, and that's probably what they've done in the beginning.
It's a pure sport, diving from the rock, and it's really something that we need to get back in touch with. I mean, this is perhaps the most ancient extreme sport, you know, jumping from a cliff into the water. Think about it. I mean, people must have been doing this for, you know, thousands of years before we're doing it.
We're labeled as cliff divers, and that's something actually we're all very proud of. If you look at the history of the sport, that's definitely how it started, directly from the cliff face. And what happened is the evolution of the sport has really pushed us to where we're standing on a platform that's built on a cliff. And that's really so we could do the more technical and difficult dives.
When you're standing on a rock, every time it's not going to be level. Sometimes you're going to be off balance. You're going to be standing at an angle. You know, you might be facing to one side and you have to jump to the other because that's the deep part. So you have to make all these little things work with you.
The difference between off the cliff and off the platform is that when you're diving from the cliff, there is no platform. So to make your feet comfortable on the rock is not all that easy. And generally speaking, you have to jump out further. And what that does is that means that you can't do as many rotations. So the further you lean forward, the less rotations you can do. So that's why we have a platform, so they can jump up and get nice and close to the platform, and that allows you to do 4 somersaults, even 5 somersaults are possible. But from the cliff, no way.
Off the cliff, you have to make it so you reach the distance to the cliff. And so from a technical perspective, it's not going to be as perfect. So the judges, for example, should not be judging the takeoff on an off-the-cliff competition as much as they should from a platform.
The divers and the cliff divers definitely deserve the term cliff diving, even if they're diving from a platform, because it is risky and they're incredibly brave men. You know, this takes a special kind of human being to do these kind of dives and these maneuvers. Not everybody can do this. This takes a lot of courage. So, like, I take my hats off to these guys.
A lot of times it feels better to almost earn it. So if you have to climb the cliff yourself and then jump, you know, you have that really good feeling inside.
You can just become one with the environment and really let yourself go and kind of be in the moment and just do your cliff diving, which is what you love to do. My name is David Colturi, and I'm a cliff diver.
My name is Stephen LeBou, and I'm a cliff diver.
My name is Orlando Duque, and I'm a cliff diver.
All right. Next up, judges. Judges 2012. For next year, we have the one or the other name already in our pool right now. An hour ago, we fixed everything with Julian Linas. Probably some of you know him. He will be new within our judges pool next year. He is also a member of the technical committee of high diving for the FINA. Our judges this year were just really quick. Claudio Romero, since a long time, our head judge from Italy. Sara Massens from Italy as well. Renato Rosi from Italy. Marion Reif, some of you know her probably as well. From Austria, former synchronized diver and platform 10-meter. Ken Grove was at the Olympics twice, I think. The Australian. Antonio Martinez from Mexico. Steve Foley, originally Australian, in the meanwhile the high performance director of US Diving. Greg Louganis, probably not worth explaining what he did. Andrei Ignatenko from the Ukraine, a former high diver. Anke Pieper from Germany, and Jeff Arban, Olympic participant as well from Great Britain. In the meanwhile, he's running a diving club in Australia. For next year, we are thinking of, as I mentioned already, of Julian and of Slava Polieszczuk. He's another Ukrainian, and he was with us on tour for a long time. So those two guys will be add-ons to our judges panel, and the rest will stay the same. We are working with 5 judges. We had discussions to delete or to extend the judges panel per stop to 7 judges, but we did step back from that. It's several reasons why we didn't do that. For the FINA World Championships in Barcelona, we of course will have 7 judges. The modus for 2013 is 14 divers at every stop. We are doing 4 dives. This means 2 required dives with a degree of difficulty of 3.8, fixed TD, plus 2 optionals. The way it works most of the time is we are doing 1 round on Friday and the 3 rounds on Saturday. The reason is the first required dive on Friday defines our head-to-head. So we decided to go for a head-to-head last year to make it more attractive for spectators and so on and so on. But we implemented already rules that if a loser is better than another winner, also make it to the final. Here it says one lucky loser makes the final. Now it's getting into detail. There are also several reasons where 2 losers could make it into the finals. The free dives on Saturday are then 1 required and 2 optionals. We have 8 or 9 finalists out of our 14 divers at every single stop. Next year we will have 10 World Series divers, which means the top 5 of the 2012 series plus the top 5 of the qualification competition in Australia in January, February will be our 10 World Series diver. And at every stop next year we're going to have 4 wildcard divers. We will pick and choose before every single stop to give as many athletes and as many divers the chance to be part of the sport and to get experience from 27 meters, because what we learned is that this is really, really important, and as you know, training possibilities are limited. One scratch result throughout the year, because we are having a lot of visa issues with our athletes, we are having of course injuries, and to make it a little bit fairer, we have one scratch result. This is the 2013 calendar, starting in Australia with the qualification competition, January 28th to February 4th. Then it's Cuba, Havana. We have France, La Rochelle. This is the spot where we have the most spectators with 70,000. Then it's Denmark, Copenhagen, the Opera House, jumping from the roof or diving from the roof. Then it's the Azores again, with probably another location. Then it's Malcese in Italy. We have been there last year already and had a break this year. Then it's July 29th to 31st with the male competition on 29th and 31st and the female competition on the 30th. If everything is coming together as planned, the first FINA High Diving World Championships in Barcelona. Then it's Boston again, UK, Wales again, and 2 new spots with Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and Thailand within the Andaman Sea, a totally new competition format as well. Qualification competition, and there I hoped to get your attention, but as not too many representatives from diving are here, maybe you could spread the word. This is the qualification competition I mentioned already, Hawkesbury River, New South Wales. 8 competition dives, which means we are doing 2 competitions, count them together to get a little bit more, or to even it out a little bit more. 2 competition days, which means 2 competitions, count together. Finding the new talent. This is our goal to, as I said, get more and more divers involved in high diving. Application is www.redbullcliffdiving.com. There is a huge button on the left top where it says apply here. Blake Aldrich is holding a big sign, and for all your interested athletes or whatever, this would be the spot to apply. Application is open until 4th of November, so it's closing in 4 days. So yeah, this is somehow short term, but if they aren't able now, they won't be able until the 4th of November. And the top 7 of the qualifier in Australia are qualified for Barcelona 2013. The top 5 will be qualified automatically for our tour. This is it. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope we will have a great introduction of high diving into the FINA program in Barcelona. We did already a location check there. The spot is amazing. We will share the spot with open water swimming. And thank you very much for attention. Your questions would have been planned now, but obviously we are doing this after all the other presentations. Thanks a lot, and it was a pleasure to be here.